So, I mean, is the whole spiritual awakening concept just a hoax? Like, it's another. See, I like catching out these spiritual ego terms. You know, everything is whole. Everything's a joke. Like, ha ha ha, and then their girlfriend leaves them. Yeah. Hey, bro, thought you said everything's a joke, man. You know, it's a joke, but it doesn't always feel like a joke. It can be heavy, like stuff's heavy. You know why? Because we're plugged into this 3D matrix. And we got the virtual reality equipment, the mental body, emotional body, physical body, nervous system, the glands that make this virtual reality equipment software work really good. We signed up for that. We want that. So is it a hoax on an absolute? See, what level are we talking on? Are we talking on absolute level or relative level? Both levels exist. This is the thing. The spiritual foo-foos, they like to just stay on absolute level. You know, well, they're not there, but they like to pretend to be there. But if that's not, if you're not addressing also the practical relative level, you're just imbalanced. You just look funny and weird. And life's going to catch you out at some point. You're going to hit bottom hard. All this so-called spiritual information is going to crash because it's not solid. So you got nothing to stand on. You're just a talking head. Life's going to crash that. It's going to chop your head. And then you can really start to maybe flourish and come back to life in a real sense. We all got to do that. I did it too. Like, we all got to go through that stage. So there's no hypocrisy here. See, I get off like that and I forget, like, oh, I have it written down. Is spiritual awakening a hoax? So from the absolute standpoint that the self is already the self, it's not going on any evolutionary journey. So, yeah, it's not really actual for a real self. But the real self isn't going to call it a hoax. It doesn't even look at things the way the human construct does. But when the relative level wants to try to talk on behalf of the absolute, then we can say, okay, yeah, it's a hoax. But while we're playing this game of evolution, the human construct video game self is in this evolutionary game. It's definitely not a hoax, not for it. So what's the answer? Is it a hoax? Yes, no, sometimes, maybe. That's the answer. The answer to true existential questions is always paradoxical. It depends where my attention is. It depends where I'm at. If I'm switched off from the senses and the mind and everything, and there's just beingness, yeah, it's a hoax. But the beingness isn't going to say it's a hoax. I got to come back into the mind to speak on behalf of the true self to say it's a hoax. You get it? I know some of you do. It's not a big deal. I'm not trying to be mystical or like try to get you to be like, oh wow, man, he's deep. You know, I don't like, for me, I don't know, man. It's just like that, you know. I'm just sharing what my perception is, you know. So for the human self, it's not a hoax. It's definitely an evolutionary process, a game that it's going to go through. And there's a bunch of learning and experiencing and crashing and then coming up again and falling into habits and then trying to transcend them and all that. All that's always happening though inside your real self, because you're watching that. There's something aware, like you're like, oh, I got a bad habit, man, I really need to break that. Ooh, whoa, I'm starting to break it. I'm starting to transcend this habit. I've transcended it. The whole time that's happening inside your consciousness. You're aware of it because you speak on it. You say, yeah, I have a bad habit I want to transcend. Ooh, I'm getting close to transcending it. I transcended it. You see, you went through all those stages. The human construct went through all those stages. But what's aware of all those stages? If there was no awareness at a higher vantage point watching this video game self, then there would be you couldn't comment on it. All you would know is, oh, I have a habit. I've transcended it. And you would believe that 100%. There would be no background awareness experiencing the watching the experience of how it feels to have a bad habit or how it feels to transcend it. This is our real self. And this is what the main purpose of the channel is to keep pointing to that, because those who have the capacity, they're at that evolutionary stage where they're like already, they're primed to experience that. This is my audience. This is who I'm talking to. And the law of magnetism will work through the internet, and it will find those people. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to run an ad, you know. I'm going to run an ad, and those are some funny ads, right? The spiritual ads. Like a yoga teacher, and he's wearing whatever, spiritual clothes, white. Namaste. The whole thing, man, like I tell people I'd rather talk to a bank robber who's authentic. He just admits what he does. He's like, man, I rob banks, bro. This is what I do. This is what God wants me to do. This is what I do. Rather than like somebody a spiritual foo-foo person. It's just that whole act. I don't know. It's just something that it makes my stomach hurt. That's the best way to describe it. I don't hate them. I just don't take them serious. Even though they take themselves serious, I don't take it. I wish my stomach didn't hurt so I could watch the foo-foo commercial advertisement more, because it's funny. Anyway, I think I said enough. All right, talk to you soon.